Hello, everyone. We're back. Arsenal Fan Circle here. I've got Stan and I got Gary with me tonight, and maybe Tony will be joining as well. So, evening, gents. How we doing, Stan?
Hello,
Good
Sar.
man. Good to be here. Hi, Gary.
Hello, Stan. Hello, Ray. Hello, chat. Hello, Arsenal World.
Hello, Mikel Arteta. Hello,
Yes,
Edu.
hello. There you go.
So Stan, it's been how long now? A week? Maybe 10 days. Has it felt long, or not really?
Not really, because there's been there's still a lot going on in the news and so forth. It hasn't really felt that long. However, on the flip side, it should be long enough for some good preparations, right? A good week. We don't have. I don't think we have too many that were away on international duty. So.
Yeah,
and as Arteta says as well, he's got all of his tools now, right? That was the phrase. He's got all of his tools, and as Adu said as well, Adu said that he just can't wait to see them all playing together. Well, you know what? Neither can I.
Yeah, exactly. Gary, we have probably needed this breakaway, and we hate to wait to mark off games already, but season really starts on Saturday.
No, it doesn't.
Still not getting.
No, I'm not going to give them those 3 games as a freebie. No, they count because guess what? Having a full squad isn't a guarantee. So that's not a good answer to why your team isn't playing well. I'm sorry. I'm not gonna give him that because then he'll tell me another time that you know what, something else is the problem. And guess what? You got to play with the cards you dealt. Got to play with the players that you got. You never know. How many times have we started warm-ups and then lost a player, right? It's like happened at least 2 or 3 times last season. So So that's not really a good answer. He's got to learn, all right, and hopefully he has. It's been he's played enough football to know that things like this happen. You're not going to get all your squad healthy at the right time. You're not going to get them all playing it right at the right time. So yeah, it's not. It's just this is the next game. That's all it is. Like you said, we have some of our starters, so we should expect better performances. But even if we play with the same squad we played in those first 3 games, I would expect them to play better than the last time, right? So if we're not expecting that, then we're not expecting any improvement, and that's not what he's here for. He's here to improve the squad every time they come out. So yeah, that's my say there.
Yeah, as I put up here in the header here, Arsenal recovery starts with season's first win versus Norwich, and that's how bad we've been, Stan. I know we played City, played Chelsea, and of course that first game, a lot of us were banking on 3 points against Brentford. Never really happened, and we've had numerous changes in personnel, numerous team changes forced through injury, suspensions, internationals, the Olympics, all of that stuff. But now, probably this weekend, I think we were just talking maybe the only possibility of where we're going to be light would be in central midfield.
Yeah. Let's have a look. We've got Thomas Partey. He's just come back from an injury. I know that he's been playing a few games behind closed doors, but we haven't really seen a lot of Thomas Partey. And again, the last time he came back from an injury, it was almost like we rushed him back too quickly. So it looks like he'll probably have to start now rather than make an appearance off the bench. I think El Nenny's also injured. There was talk as well about Emil Smith-Rowe being unwell, not COVID related, just being unwell. Maybe he just had the shits, who knows. And there was maybe the dodgy curry. There was somebody else as well.
Vindaloo.
Huh?
Vindaloo.
Yeah. And obviously, yeah. And obviously Granit is out for 3 games. So we look pretty light. And as we were saying earlier, when Mikel was asked about a midfield partnership of Thomas Partey and Lokonga, he did seem a little bit hesitant and seemed to be talking about ESR and Odegaard being able to drop into those pockets. So who knows what he's got in mind. But I'm really excited, to be honest, now, because between now and the next international break, we've got about 8 games. And if this was a movie for me or a book, this is now the last chapter. There's nothing left after this. You know, I've ridden the wave now with Mikel Arteta, and you know, in 8 matches time, I'm gonna have to get off the fence, because even though I'm worried about him having what it takes to be the manager, I'm giving him, as you know, to that next international break. So I look at the next 2 fixtures, Norwich and Burnley, and I say to myself, surely I should be able to expect 4 points, a win and a draw. At some point, we have to go on a run. We have to go on a run, right? At some point, you know, at some point we have to go on a run, and you're looking for us to put together a run of maybe like 3, maybe 4 games, and they could include draws. And if we can, and I don't mind getting a draw as long as I see that there's been some improvement. I can see something coming together, and as you know, Arteta said, you know, about having all of his tools now, and Edu saying that he just wants to see everyone playing together. Well, Ben White's coming back, our £50 million centre back, and we're going to see the pairing of him and Gabriel Megalex, which is what we've been sold now. He's going to be the heart of our defence moving forward, because I think the penny's finally dropped with a lot of people that perhaps Pablo Mari. I remember when people were talking about, well, we can play Pablo Mari and Gabriel Megalex together. Well, it looks like Mari is falling a little bit down the pecking order if you've got people like Said Kolasinac taking the space. So I'm quite excited now, because this for me is now it's shit or bust. It's time to get off the pot. You know,
definitely.
That we've got. I'm looking now to see the results, and bring it on. I can't wait.
Yeah, I'm gonna get Gary in the next few minutes, because you have to leave in about 5 minutes, Gary. But you will be coming back to us a little bit later. So have your opening statement, have your monologue right now, Gary, about Norwich and Arsenal.
Yeah, this is this is the next game. It's I would say a must win, but in really, it just needs to be, as they said, it needs to be a game where I can actually see the future of Arteta's Arsenal. Right? I don't think we've seen it. I'm hoping we didn't see it, because I didn't like it. So I'm expecting to see something better than what I've seen before. It doesn't matter who's on the pitch; it's got to be a reflection of what kind of style of manager he is. So that's what I'm looking for. It's got to happen now. I mean, I don't know how much longer we're supposed to wait for the Arsenal to look like the team he wants, no matter whether he has the right players or not. The style needs to be better than what we've seen. We should win this game, all right? It shouldn't be a case of if. It should be we should win this game. We should be able to handle them. I predict it's going to be a tight game, and I've already said I'm expecting a 0-1, because when I expect big things, it never happens. So I'll be pleasantly surprised if we can win by 2 or more goals, just because of the way the history has gone. So yeah, it's up to, you know, Arteta's got, like he said, he's got his players, so we should see the style of play he wants. If we don't, then it has nothing to do with the players anymore. All right. I mean, outside of well, think about it. Who are we missing? No, nobody really, right? I mean, even if Xhaka and Emile Smith-Rowe are out, and even Tomiyasu is out, you're still going to have at least 10 players that would be legitimate. Would be legitimate starters on this team. Maybe the right back is still an issue, but they have at least 10 players on the pitch that are going to be his players, and should be able to, you know, accommodate whatever style he wants to play. So I don't expect us to look like we don't know what we're doing out there. We should win this game. We should be able to handle them. It should be an easy game for us. I mean, we do have enough talent, and we have quality enough to do that. So no excuses. No, doesn't matter if somebody gets knocked out early or in the warm-ups or whatever, gets sick. For me, you gotta play.
Because Brentford should have been an easy game for us as well, man.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So when is enough, right? Brentford showed it wasn't, and the next 2 games we knew were going to be tough, and they were. West Brom showed that if the class of talent that we got to play against isn't even close, then we should be able to handle them. And Norwich is that another another example of that, right? Another example of a team that should not be able to control the match. We should control this match both defensively, offensively, and we should be able to get the win. I mean, we're home, right? What more do we want? Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. So
With that, you can duck at any point in time now, Gary, if you want, and we'll see you a little bit later. But really, shout out to you. Hello, Gary, Stan, and Ray. We're honored to have the Luchador in here as well, Arsenal Luchador. Viva Arsenal. And, of course, DWT leaving his welcoming at the beginning here. Good evening, everyone. Come on, you Gunners. What if we beat Norwich, but then stutter again for the next few games? So, Stan, you started the wave analogy. I think we're at the bottom of that wave. We're at the trough in that wave, and we need to build some momentum up here. And maybe this Norwich game can be the momentum that we need to build.
Norwich are going to be up for it. Don't get me wrong. I think any team at the moment, if you're looking, if they're looking at games coming up, and they see Arsenal, that people got to be thinking we could be ripe for pickings. But as Riddy said, though, if we beat Norwich and start again for the next few games, it all depends. I mean, if we get a win against Norwich and we lose against Burnley, for me, I'm at a stage where I'm not just looking at wins and losses now. Black and white. I'm looking at the losses and I'm looking at the manner. You know what I mean? One of their players is dirty and we get a man sent off for no reason and we're struggling and we almost, you can take that. But yeah, if you're looking at a win against Norwich and we kind of put in what I want to see is the similar kind of a display that we put out against West Bromwich Albion. That kind of a display against what's so-called more equal opposition. And if we see that, and then we go into the Burnley game, and we see a performance like we put out against, say, in the first couple of games, then I'd be worried. I'd be worried why is there no consistency? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Definitely now is the moment. Now is the time. Stan, last season we dug ourselves a really big hole after only 14 games. We were in the relegation zone. Well, we've broken another record this beginning of this season. After only 3 games, we're in the relegation zone. I know, admittedly, we played Chelsea, we played City, but we have another hole that we need to dig ourselves out of, and we're looking up at all of the other teams in the Premier League right now.
It can't get any worse, can it?
No, well,
we're
not this season. Can't get any worse than 20.
We can't get any lower than where we are. The only I was going to sound like Yaz, the only way is up. But I mean, it is right. There is nowhere else for us to go at the moment. So you look at the fixtures that we have coming up. You've got to say that we should be able to get points and goals. Yeah. And you don't get one without the other. The goals have got to come. It seems that everyone talks about the record that we had last season, having the 3rd best defence, and we've added to that with supposed more quality. So if the back is secure, then we need to score the goals because that's where we get the points, right? We can't just keep going out and hoping to get a 0-0 draw and walk away with a point. We've got to be more assertive, right? We've got to go out there trying to win the game, not going out there with a mindset, well, as long as we don't lose. You know what I mean? And we fall into that kind of Emery kind of style, which he kind of was very much a little bit like that at times.
Well, I hope I'm wrong, Stan, but I actually feel like we didn't improve going forward in our transfer window. We plugged some holes at the back. We got ourselves a backup goalkeeper. We got ourselves a nice, shiny new central defender on the right side with £50 million. And we got Ødegaard, somebody who we knew, same player basically we had last season. But, yeah, he's an Arsenal player now. So we did spend the money to acquire him as an Arsenal player. Well, we're counting all of those plugs and all those parts in midfield and defense in helping us to progress the ball forward and clicking up front with basically the same machinery that we had last season, you know?
For me, when I look at the transfer window now that the dust has settled, initially, I looked at how much we'd spent, what we'd brought in, and I was a little bit, I think the word that I would use is a little bit underwhelmed, especially as well over the summer, getting sucked into some of the stories and thinking like, oh, Lautaro Martinez coming to Arsenal, or oh, Manuel Locatelli, or oh, Ruben Neves. And you get sucked into it a little bit, right? Which is my own fault. But now that the dust has settled, I look at it this way, right? There was a big overhaul that was needed to do to the squad. If we've spent 150 million, right, we wasn't in a situation where we could get 150 million and go out and spend 80 on one player. Do you know what I mean? And then go out and spend another 70 on another player. We had to spread the money around because we're doing such a big overhaul. So a lot of people are saying, well, we ain't got a marquee player. We've just bought a lot of backups. Well, Ben White's supposed to be a first team player, as I get it. Odegaard's going to be a first team player. So that's 2 out of the 6 already. We know that we needed a backup for our left back. Everybody knows that side, Kolasinac, nobody even wants him as a backup. So we had to spend money there. And we didn't spend a king's ransom on Tavares. Sambi Lokonga was brought in, and in Edu's words, he said that he is supposed to be the next guy after any time Partey or Xhaka is injured, which is interesting to what we were just saying about the midfield, because if Partey is back and Xhaka is out, then by that philosophy, Sambi Lokonga should be starting. So it's going to be interesting to see, again, if what they've been telling us is true, or whether it's just, again, lip service and they do something else and Lokonga's on the bench. But I digress. But we've got, from that 6, it's a mixture, right? There's some first-team players in there and some backup. And could we have really gone out and spent 60, 70 million on James Maddison and still got everything done? If we had done that, we might have been going into the season with still maybe Kolasinac as our backup left back, and people would be moaning then. We may be going into the season without adequate backup to Bernd Leno, it just being that Okonowa, sorry, I can't pronounce his name, our third guy.
Okonkwo.
Exactly, you said it.
Arthur.
We call him Arthur. It might be Arthur, right? Meanwhile, we know that Leno wants to get out. So I kind of understand how the money was spent. What I hope now happens is that maybe not January, because January is traditionally difficult sometimes to get good transfers done. But in the next big window, we then go out and perhaps by then we're looking at further forward in the team, and maybe a bigger marquee signing does come in to complement what we've already done.
Yeah.
Did you know what I mean? I don't know if that makes sense, but I just think now that the dust is settled and I look how the money was spent, I get it. We had to spread it around 6 or 7 people rather than just bringing in 2 or 3.
Yeah, and you talk about Maddison. If we had not been able to prize Odegaard away from Real Madrid, I think no doubt we would have had to fork out some more money for James Maddison to bring him in. Maybe at the expense of one of those 6, one of the. No,
I don't think so. I think that what would have happened is if they couldn't have got Odegaard, who I think was always their number 1 choice, because he was there, right? He was there with them last season, and they liked him. And Arsenal can be very convenient like that. Look at Dani Ceballos; they brought him back for a second season when I didn't think he was all that in the first. So I always thought that Odegaard was their first choice, and flirting with other midfielders was a way to say to Madrid, well, we are looking elsewhere. We're not just stuck on this other guy. We are looking around. And I think that if the Odegaard deal hadn't have got done, then we would have gone back to the Hossein Aouar well, because he was being offered at a lot cheaper than Maddison. You're looking at 60 plus maybe add-ons for Maddison and maybe 20, 25 for Aouar. Yeah. So I think that we would have probably gone to that well. And I'm glad that we didn't, because I don't know too much about him, but there's something about Aouar that I just get a touch of the Ozils, and not in a good way. So
yeah, I mean, it's interesting. A lot of teams were maybe semi-connected with him this summer, and he waited and he waited and he waited. The window came, the window went, and he's still there. So nobody picked him up at the end of the day. Riddy said here, did you see Arteta's press conference, Stan?
I saw the one that Arsenal released. That he was like being interviewed by the Arsenal guy. I didn't see the one with the media.
Yeah, the media one, very, very typical Mikel Arteta press conference. And I remember you and I were both in awe of Arteta. He said all the right things that first.
So how many litres of snake oil did he sell at this one then? How many barrels of snake oil did he manage to sell to the media?
He was pretty good. He was pretty good. I watched it before I came on here, and it's the usual set of words, as Riddy said, a perfect set of words in every answer. And in some of the answers, he repeated his previous answer when reporters wanted more information. So yeah, as the weeks and months have gone on already, I've learned not to listen to Mikel as much as he got me in the first. He got me in the first few press conferences, but as the months have gone on and years have gone on.
Just speaking of interviews, just going back, I haven't spoken to you, I don't think, since the Edu interview, and I know that a lot of people are kind of have picked out. And I just want to play devil's advocate with this. A lot of people have picked out when Edu said, I really want to see this group of players play together. I'm not concentrating. We're not worrying about finishing 4th or 6th or even 8th or 10th. I just want to, and people are sort of like going, what? They got no ambition. And I look at it, there's 2 ways to look at it, right? The first one is Arsenal fans for ages have said, we don't really hear too much from our club. Why don't they ever come out and really communicate with us? Well, that was communication, right? He came out, he did the rounds, he did a couple of interviews. It was like he was on tour, playing like around working man's clubs and that, Eddie was on tour. But he was out there. And even though there's 2 ways to look at it, even though it doesn't sound good when he says we're not thinking about 4th or 6th or even 8th or 10th, would you rather him say that and be honest, or would you rather him come out, go on tour, and just pay lip service and go, obviously, be excited. We wanted to be excited. We're going to compete with Bayern Munich. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. We're going to tear a fucking hole in everybody's arsehole. I mean, and just pay lip service. It's 2 ways to look at it. So there's the underwhelming side where you're like, oh, fucking hell, what, you got no targets? But at least, I don't know. I'm trying to. Maybe it's a case of managing expectations, playing it safe himself. But I would rather that he didn't just pay lip service and just say, yeah, we're going to win the fucking Champions League. Do you know what I mean? And
I thought he was very honest and forthright. And a lot of us fans asked for transparency. When we get it, we don't like it because,
what we want to hear.
Not what you wanted to hear. First, you want transparency. Then you want to hear all the things that you want to hear.
Yeah, you want to hear, I'm going to do. We're signing Messi, we're signing Cristiano Ronaldo, and we're going to win the fucking, I don't know, WrestleMania.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of the younger fans got gassed about the prospect of James Maddison coming in, and really, that was going to be gravy. If we were ever going to get James Maddison, that would have been gravy. And, you think that we would have went with our, in the instance that we wouldn't have got earlier, I think we would have went for Maddison.
I just feel that where we are at the moment, right, we've got no European competition. We've been out of the Champions League for a long time. We've been in the Europa Leagues for 4 years, and we're just declining. Now we ain't even in that. We're not even in this new
the
Europa
Conference. About relegation every season, Stan.
Right. So how is a team in that situation who's finished 8th 2 seasons in a row? I think it's arrogant for us to shovel 70 million up for one player. I don't think we're in that situation. Do you know what I'm getting at? If we were a top 6 side and just trying, and we're in the Europa League and trying to get back into the Champions League, or even in the Champions League, like we always used to be, and struggle to get out of the groups, I could understand you going out and say, you know what, we need to push the boat out big on this one guy. Really going to do it for us. And then you go out and you spunk the 70 million. But where we are, we need so many new faces in that 60, 70 million can do 3 players. And that's what we need right now. Once we can get a little bit further up the table and we start battling, and we're almost at the door of Europe, or we're in one European competition and want to get into the next, we can justify spunking 60, 70 million on one person.
Mm-hmm.
I
mean,
think
5 years ago was the time to do that, when we were in that with that season against Leicester City. We were only in club early to not sign an outfield player in all of Europe, I believe it was. We only went for Petr Cech, and we know how that ended up. Reddy said here, was set up by Sky to wind up the fans as usual. We're starved of success, so we're ripe for that kind of wind up, Stan.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you saw that that toilet. I can't remember what his name is. I don't even remember his name. It's on Sky. I retweeted it, and it was on there like I think it was like the last day of the transfer window, and they were doing like the roundup, and the guy was trying to frame it about, and Arsenal came in at the last minute and bought Tomiyasu, and he was basically trying to frame it that this guy was being hawked around various clubs, and he was trying to frame it that the phone rang at Mikel Arteta's house while he was eating the sandwich, and he's like, yeah. And they're like, we heard you looking for a right back. We got this guy, Tomiyasu. And he's like, Tomiyasu who?
Yeah.
Tomiyasu, he plays right back. Yeah, we'll take him. And it was like, there's been no scouting work. We don't know anything about him. And they were and the way that when he said it, him and the other host were literally giggling with each other.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought to myself, like, what a toilet. Do you know what I mean? When Spurs were in for that Tomiyasu for a while and they were scouting him, they didn't say fuck all. As soon as Arsenal's name's mentioned, they try and make something out of it. Do you know what I mean? And it's just, and you know what? I actually like all of that, because for me, I think it makes us stronger. I mean, under the George Graham days, do you know what I mean? When we used to get, before Arsene Wenger come in, to those of you that are out there that have maybe only been with us in that time because of your age or whatever,
yeah,
we weren't a glory team. A lot of other fans thought of us as a really boring and conservative team. We won some FA Cups. We won the league against Liverpool, as you know, the UEFA Cup. But we were known as a very conservative song, hence the 1-0 to the Arsenal song. Very conservative. Yeah. And then
we didn't pay the highest wages either at the time, Stan.
No. And then with with Arsene Wenger coming in, there was a transformation in the way that we played.
Yeah.
Did you know what I mean? It was
a
complete overhaul in the philosophy and style of the way we played. So it hasn't always been like that,
Yeah, and it takes 22 years, and Arsene Wenger was there for 22 years to institute that playing style. So now, Wenger can be thanked for giving us the Arsenal DNA. It hasn't been as strong in the last 10 or 15 years, but, he did give us the blueprint. We just didn't follow up with the success here.
And even when Arsene Wenger came in, I remember when he came in. I mean, obviously as an Arsenal fan, and this is pre-internet, I'd never heard of him. What do I know about teams in Japan, which is where we got him from? And I remember as well that, again, because we were trying to do something different, the media tried to hammer us and tried to hammer him.
Yeah, Arsene who?
It really made him unwelcome. It was quite rude, actually, of the FA. If you try and think of gentlemanly conducting yourself with sportsmanship, they were actually quite rude to this guy, and he proved them all wrong, and they fucking hated it.
Yeah,
they really.
Maybe that could have been the seed for the hate that Arsenal got. Has got.
But it made us stronger when we were going through that phase. It made us stronger because we knew that they fucking hated it. They were like, "Oh, where's that fucking boring Arsenal?"
Yeah.
Who weren't bothering anybody. Now look, Exactly. So
Really said, Cave Sola call another clown. I think I may know I don't know. I can't put a face to the name, but I think I may know the face. I don't think we're ever seriously in for Madison. It was mostly standard clickbait stuff from the media. Great to see Rule back. Rule, great to see you. Reaction.
Yeah, it's been around for a while.
Who only watch English Premier League and only go by what the Sky Sports or bloggers say. So, yeah, I mean, there's a certain, I call it tabloid fans, the ones who will gravitate towards the back pages. You know what the tabloids are like over in England, Stan, the back pages. It's always reactionary. Sometimes the footballers get on the front page as well. So You know, that's the kind of fan that they're into sensational stuff. Arteta's press conference, flawless as usual. We got to call out the ladies here. A really, really great win earlier today in Prague, as Rady said, and Medina getting a hat trick as well. Good stuff indeed. The ladies are showing the way, Stan.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest. I don't really watch them much, but you know, I hear the scores and hear about. We just signed another. She's from America, Tobin Heath.
Tobin Heath, 30 in her 30s, but signed for a free transfer, and she's the top end of her game. So definitely going to increase the profile, and an Arsenal fan to boot as well. So
yeah,
I'll admit as well, Stan, this season I've started watching it. I did watch the Chelsea game, my first game, and I really enjoyed it. It's always nice when you can see players with an Arsenal shirt winning games for you, and hopefully we'll see that on Saturday as well. So, Stan, what kind of team are you hoping to see on Saturday? Let's go through the positions really quickly.
I'd like to see a formation that has 4 at the back, personally.
Yeah, 4-2-3-1. 4-2-3-1 for me.
Yeah, I mean, that's what we've kind of been trying to get right, I think. That seems to be the formation that he's been trying to get right. I don't think we've got quite to go to a 4-3-3 maybe, but it seems like a 4-2-3-1 is what he's been trying to do. But it all depends on how he's going to put those people out. I mean, Tierney's played quite a lot of minutes, hasn't he?
Yeah, three internationals for Scotland.
And so, you know that he can be a little bit lightweight. You have to manage him. So. Yeah. I don't know if this is it wouldn't surprise me if he didn't play, and I would understand it if they do all of their tests and he's what do they call it? Arsene Wenger used to say
a little bit short, right? Yeah. In the red zone.
In the red zone, that's it. So if he's in the red zone, I would rather than be preventative than play him and see him buckle on the 50th minute and he's out for fucking 2 months or something. So I'd get that. But yeah, I'd like to see a 4-2-3-1. So I think that I was just going to read my line out to you, and as soon as I got to the first position goal, I paused because that's quite an interesting one, right? We've gone out and spent quite a lot of money on Aaron Ramsdale. The word is that he's going to be the future, that Bernd Leno's days are numbered. So we've been talking about having their tools. Edu said that I can't wait to see all of these players play together. Therefore, if I've got my fucking Colombo fucking hat on, does Colombo wear a hat? No, he wore a hat. He wore a hat. If I've got my Sherlock Holmes hat on, then you would say that Ramsdale should play because Ramsdale is an Arteta guy. Leno was already here, and Leno's already, as I understand it, made indications that he might be thinking of moving on. So if he's fit, why not start with Leno?
I'm going to play devil's advocate back on you, Stan. I'm going to play devil's advocate back on you. What if Bernd Leno gets the hump because he's dropped and Ramsdale has come in for this game?
What if he gets the hump?
Yeah, if he gets the hump.
What if Ramsdale gets the hump?
No, Bernd Leno gets the hump.
Well, it sounds like he's already got the hump. Otherwise, he wouldn't be agitating for a move and so forth. So,
and by the way,
should we be catering to this guy? Doesn't sound like it.
No, maybe not. And the correct pronunciation, I should drop the H, right? It should be the ump. If you're going proper copy, right, you got to go ump.
The camel. Bernd Leno's got the camel.
Gary's back. Just to bring you up to speed, we're kind of just going through the team now, Gary, what you want to see against Norwich. So,
and we're still on goalkeeper because he asked me, and I was just going to read out my lineup, Gary, and then I thought goalkeeper. And as soon as I thought about it, I thought, well, as Edu said, about seeing all of these players play together. On that logic, you don't have to be a fucking rocket scientist. Ramsdale's an Arteta guy. Leno's not. Leno's agitating for a move. So why shouldn't Ramsdale start if fit? And then Ray said, what if Leno gets the ump? What if he gets the camel? And I'm like, well, it sounds like he's already got the camel. Or else he wouldn't be wanting to leave, right? So should we even be catering to this guy if he's not if his head's not in the game? Stowe. What do you reckon?
All right. Well, I have a couple of things to go through, but I'll start with the goalkeeper. Like you said, when he brings this guy in, he usually plays him right away. We'll find out, right? If he's his man, like he said, like we think he is, he's playing, right? They spent a lot of money on him. They spent as much money on him as they did on Erdiger, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right. So that to me means that that's their man. I mean, that's a lot of money. If you spend that much on a backup, I mean, come on, tell me, how does that make any sense? It doesn't. It makes no sense, because you could have got Ryan for less than that. Even if you gave him double the money that he was probably going to get, he probably would have stayed. But yeah, this one should be. We'll find out. There's a lot of things we'll find out, right? We'll find out if Ramsdale really is his man. I think what I saw from him in the West Brom game is what we're lacking from the goalkeeper, right? Is he a better shot stopper? Probably not, because but I've seen him make a lot of one-on-one stops, so I'm not sure when I think the shot stop we know what we're talking about is the kind that requires immediate reaction, right? It doesn't have much time to think, whereas a lot of times he had a guy running at him one-on-one and he stopped him. So to me, we should have less of that, but we should definitely have less of. Our defense should be a lot more stronger, right? This is one of those things where Leno went from taking on 20, 30 shots a game to not as many, right? As our defense got better and better and better. So maybe we don't have the best shot stopper, but we have a decent, goalkeeper, plus one who can play out from the back a little bit more consistency. All right. And that's what we want as well. So we'll find out. He's got to be, his man, right? All six of these players, I would expect to be his man, and he should be playing them as soon as he can if they're slated to be starters. And it's right now.
I just don't think. I don't think we're going to see all six as such.
No. That's what I'm saying. Of the six, White, Ramsdale, and Erdiger are the true starters, I think, right? Am I missing one? No, right?
Tomiyasu?
I didn't tell you.
Tomiyasu
as well, right? I would expect those four to be starters in his style of play that he wants, right? You don't pick up a guy on the last day of the window and then go, you know what? Oh, you can come and you can play second and third fiddle on our right back, right? It just doesn't make any sense, right? Why are you doing that? Nothing makes sense. But
they're trying to rush through.
But then again, you make these moves. They said, all right, a lot of people are hanging their head on the fact that they got 6 players that he wanted, 6 players that he needed, 6 players that fit his style, that give him what he wants. Yeah. So that means they play. I mean, Partey's out. Sambi should play. That's what you got him for, right? Tierney's out. Tavares should play. That's what you got them for, right? And I don't think we saw that as much as we expected to see it, right? So, they need to play and they need to come in those situations because that's what you brought them in for, right?
I think Partey starts though because I think and then he's ill or something.
Yeah, in this situation. So
I hope that's not a rush, right? I hope that's not a rush.
Yeah.
No, he should be back. He should be fit.
No, I'm just saying I hope it's not. I know it sounded as if he was going to play in that behind the doors game, but it just didn't work out in terms of timing. So I'm expecting him to start too, but I just, was that talk? Was that actually real? We'll find out. But yeah, all of his guys that he's brought in since he's been manager for the last 18, 19 months, they should be playing, right? The ones that are slated, right?
Rule said we sure Leno wants to leave. I mean, there is rumors. That's all we're going on. Most of what we've heard is from the media and bloggers.
I don't know for sure.
I'm not sure about that.
Sure, but
I felt like we heard it legitimately from him. So, and you know what? He doesn't want to sign his contract. So isn't that like a sign that he doesn't want to be here?
Yeah.
I don't know what his contract status is, to be honest.
I thought he doesn't want to negotiate or whatever. I thought that was the reason why
he wanted. I know there was reports. Rule said it would be we wanted to explore some options. Urban Ghost, hi fellas, hope you're all good, doing well, Urban Ghost, and James is here, living his best life at the top of the league right now. The Spurs supporter, welcome, James. Hey lads, hope you're all well. I had a similar phase with women's football last year when we signed Alex Morgan, and the men's team results were poor. So, yeah,
how much poorer do you want us to get? Come on, be nice to us. Come on, James, be nice to us. You want us to be poorer than we've been the last 2 seasons?
He could really pour it on. He could really pour it on more, right?
We don't want to be that. We don't want to be any poorer than we. I mean, 8th is enough. We've seen it twice, and you're saying it could get worse. I hope not. Not.
Well, again, Gary, we have dug ourselves a hole. After 14 games last season, we dug ourselves a hole. We're down in the relegation zone, and now after 3 games this season, we're back in this position. Looking upwards, as it were. Rule said I think it goes up to 2023. Leno. So, and Reddy thinks that Ramsdale will start against Wimbledon. Leno's Premier League place still secure as of now. I actually think so. I think he's going to go with Bernd Leno and keep Aaron Ramsdale as the eager puppy who wants to keep on pushing Ramsdale and giving him that competition. And Arteta did talk about Ramsdale today in terms of he's very, very good. He's very enthusiastic, and he wants to push Bernd Leno all the way for that number 1 jersey for the goalkeeper. Yeah, excited that Gabriel is back, partnered with White at the back now. This is all good stuff. We're starting to see closer and closer to what we perceive as the first team for Arsenal. So right now, I would say Bernd Leno is your number 1 goalkeeper. In time, Ramsdale will probably take over as he probably excels. He's going to play well against Wimbledon. I can't see us losing against Wimbledon in the Cup. But Bernd Leno is the number 1 goalkeeper right now. Ben White and Gabriel will have to develop that understanding, that centre back, this understanding between themselves for the majority of the Norwich game. And they're going to have to come to grips with the partnership. They're going to have to learn on the field what they've been doing in training the last few days, Gary. So just talking about Gabriel and Ben White and developing that understanding. We want to see them start against Norwich on Saturday. And they're going to have to learn each other's game in real time, possibly.
Yeah, we don't have preseason, so every game has got to be, if they're healthy and they're ready to go, they should play. I mean, that's a lot of money spent on the center backs after having so many, a couple years ago. They need to play. They need to play now. I mean, they've been playing, right? I mean, White has been playing all season. Last season he played a lot. Gabriel, same thing. When he was healthy, he played. So, yeah, learning on the fly, as they say. But you know what? Mm-hmm. That's fine. They need to play.
As James says, I'm sure you'll be fine. I don't want to take the mickey because our results would drop off as well. Well, we can take the banter, you know what I mean? A little bit of banter here and there.
No,
I'll put up a little bit, James. You're good here.
Yeah, I didn't think you meant it like that, but I was nitpicking. Before you move on, I know before I left, you guys were talking about what happens if we stutter after, if we do win and then we stutter.
Yeah, we win against Norwich. Yeah. We win against Norwich and we draw or lose at Burnley with Sean Dyche. And, I can't keep a straight face every time I'm in Stan's company with Sean Dyche. So, yeah, what if we stutter, Gary?
Well, it's a matter of, it's like, what if you lose the first 3 matches, but I can see that, you're working on something, and I can see a style of play that you want to get, and it just wasn't working out that day, because it's still new to some of these players. That's the only thing that would justify whether or not we, I would look at those games and say, you know what, it was, we're still figuring things out. The problem is, I feel like we've been trying to do this for. My thing is, we should have seen this in game 1 and 2 and 3, and I don't think we've seen anything like that where I can say, you know what, it just was a bad day, and that's why we lost the way we did. It didn't seem like that at all. It didn't seem like whatever Arteta is trying to get across to his players is they're actually able to understand it and do it to the best of their abilities.
Mhm.
You know, that's for me. We could lose the first 6 matches, but if I felt like we had something going on,
Okay.
it might be okay to
Oh,
watch that. But
Yeah, I was going to come at you a little bit there, Gary, but you think you've clarified your position. As long as you
Yeah.
see something that you can cling on to as an Arsenal fan, you're encouraged then. But obviously, you don't mind losing the first 3 games like we did, but losing them in the manner that we did lose them
yeah,
is the
I don't
appalling
think
part.
anybody can see us improving from it because it was just poor.
Yeah.
Right? It wasn't. It was
Hey,
just
Tony.
really, really poor.
Right, so
So.
All right, so James, what I didn't read out your last part, so this is a very good part as well. Also,
Yeah,
on
well
the
done.
football note of Leeds University, in a few weeks got AAA and A level stand.
Well done, James. Nice
Oh,
one.
nice.
I remember him
Good job.
telling us that he had his A levels coming up.
Excellent.
So, can you explain to this Brit,
Yeah.
non-Brit, what that means?
Enlighten us. I think AAA is pretty good though, right?
Sounds like it. Is there anything higher?
Can you get 4 A's?
A is A, isn't it? All 3 of them. So there you go.
No.
But what is it? A level?
It's
Yeah.
like depending on how well you do in your A levels will depend on what kind of maybe a university choice that you might get.
Okay, nice.
You know,
Okay.
the better you do, more higher level universities will want you, and you'll have a better choice.
Nice. Good
Urban
job.
Go said, James Fernandez, congrats, bro. That's amazing. Pre uni. So
Okay, all right.
yeah, we're all of an age now that we've forgotten about those days. Those days are past us a little bit, you know. So
Nice.
good
As
stuff.
I recall, I think you do like kind of a college level classes long before you get into college. Like over here, you just have high school and then you go straight to college. I mean, I think it sounds like A levels gives you a little bit more preparation for when you do get in there, the way it's structured and stuff.
You
Like
can
that.
go to college, but university is kind of higher.
Okay.
That makes any sense. Usually, you live away from home as well, unless
Yeah,
you go to university that's in your town. Whereas college, it's kind of more. College is more higher education. So in England, you can basically finish at 16 and that's it. Your education is done at 16. Whereas in America, you seem to be at school for fucking years, man. It's like 20s and stuff.
It's 18, but when you come out of 18, you still got to go. You know, the A levels don't. To me, A levels seem like they prepare you better for college. So yeah.
As Rule said, Ramsdale will gradually be number 1, more than likely in the latter part of the season. Gabriel, Tommy, and White will start. And there's some, I think the club is scrambling. Tony, I'll welcome you in. I think the club is scrambling to get Tomiyasu into the lineup for Saturday. Tony, what are you hoping to see on Saturday, Tony?
And hopefully a lineup that he picks and sticks with it. Hopefully something that we see week in and week out with everybody healthy now.
Well, we'll likely see that at Burnley if he continues the lineup that he picks on Saturday, you know. So hopefully, you know, we're going to see a few of the new signings in there. We want Edu to hold Arteta's feet to the fire and sort of, this is your team now. You have the tools. Start using the tools that are in the chest, you know.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely should be playing, or sorry, at least be suited up, right?
Rule says Tommy has his permit, so
Yeah.
you know it's a good development. And that,
Has Tomiyasu been bought as a first team starter? I've heard some people say yes, some people say no. I mean, if he hasn't been bought as a first team starter, then who's ahead of him? Cedric or Chambers?
shout out to Mobe. Yeah, I would
Yeah,
think
Mobe.
that he, like
Got
you
the
said,
starter, right? You
did
think
you say it's done? Did you? Who said he was bought on the last day of the window? And you don't like do that
Yeah,
if you're not going to play the player. You
Yeah.
know, if he's not going to go straight into your team. Partey was bought on the last day of the last year's window as well.
Yeah.
I mean, it seems like one of those last resorts. Like, you know what? If we can get everybody we want, we'll do it. But if we can't, then we'll just have to see if we can get somebody in. You know, we always talk about a plan B.
It sounded like there were two targets, right? There was, I think it was the Emerson Royal, and Tomiyasu, because Tottenham were also linked with Tomiyasu for some time, and we were kind of linked with Emerson Royal, and then we kind of switched for whatever reason. Emerson Royal decided to go to Tottenham, and we thought, well, fuck
Took
it.
the wrong cab.
Well, no, I thought the Emerson Royal
Taxi
thing
driver had the
also
wrong
was one of
sign
those. I thought Emerson Royal thing was also one of those things where we could have packaged it up with another player, but we were asking too much, and so they said no. And then they got what they want. I thought so. I mean, similarly, we could have done the same thing with Eddie, right? We could have let him. We could have saved some money on White, right, when we let him go, and that fell through or whatever it was. So I'm not sure, what we're doing. We're keeping players that we don't want because they're not getting the money we want, but we end up getting a player we do need. So
We're drawing the line in the sand, Gary, and we're not being flexible.
Yeah, you're drawing a line in the sand, but then you're taking on players you don't want. All right, they don't want Nketiah, they don't want Bellerin.
If Tomiyasu's got his permits and he's been in training for about a week or so, then I don't see why he should have to sit. I mean, he's coming from a team.
No,
but he's coming from a team that plays football at a reasonable competitive level. He also plays international football, and at the end of the day, right, we're asking him to play football. We're not asking him to do anything that he's not used to. So I don't want to hear any of this fucking time to settle shit. I really hate that.
Time to settle. He hasn't met his teammates. He hasn't been initiated with that song. He has to sing a song. You know that thing, Stan.
Because I go back to
go to a restaurant and sing a song.
I go back to Gabriel Megalegs, right? When he came in, it was the same thing. Oh, he's gonna have to settle in and this, that, and the other, and he was a bit poorly. And then because we were down to the bare bones, reluctantly, Arteta had to start him, and he scored on his debut. So
there you go.
It's football,
and, You put Emile Smith Rowe in on December 26th, and lo and behold, you beat Chelsea 3-1. Tony, Rule said here, while I think Arteta's been foolish tactically in the first 3 matches, I think his plans were greatly affected by missing players and using players that are not suitable for the formation.
He did it all last season. He kept forcing his tactic and formation for the players he didn't have.
Yeah, but I mean, Rule is saying on that first game, I mean, a number of things went against us. We didn't have players. I think we were unsettled by what we can surmise is the Premier League forcing the club to go ahead and play the fixture. High prestige game on that Friday night. The game had to go on. The show must go on. Really said, don't be surprised to see Chambers start against Norwich or Cedric. Facts, it could happen. We all know Arteta's MO could be. He hasn't met any of the players. He doesn't know their names, Stan.
When you go on international duty, right, you're playing with players, probably a lot of them might not come from your club. You don't have to be sat down and settle in and all that. You play football. We're not asking him to do anything that he hasn't done before. Do you know what I mean? We're not asking him to pick the ball up in his mouth, run up the touchline and spit it into the goal. We're asking him just to do what he normally does, is play as right back. So I really want to see this guy start.
Yeah. Can't see no one starting over Tommy. He will surprise a lot of Arsenal fans and be a star. I watched him score a goal against AC Milan. I think that was one off his left peg as well. So he is two-footed. He's a good player.
Yeah, fair play.
I've seen some of his defending as well. He shepherds players away from danger. He doesn't let players come into the box. He shepherds them away from danger. So I've
only seen one clip of him that was on my Twitter feed, and it was an international one, and it was good and bad at the same time, because it was good because he was hustling and a forward off of the ball right down to the touchline, and then the forward ended up just giving up and walking away and not even trying to get back in there. But it was bad because that forward was Nicola Pepe. So I was like, Tomiyasu looks,
all your eyes were on Tomiyasu, and then you're like, isn't that Nicolas Pepe? Oh my god!
Yeah, it's like, that's Nicolas Pepe. That's just giving up the ghost.
Moby said he trained today, late session. Think he'll be good for Saturday, but might see Chambers start. So that's enough of our back five. We've got a goalkeeper and the back four set. Next 4 games will tell us what we need to know about Arteta. 4 wins minimum, or else he could be gone. And that's going to include the North London Derby, and we'll get into that shortly. Gary, midfield. Who are your 2 midfielders?
Well, I didn't get to really talk about what you were just talking about there. I had something to say.
All right, fold it
we-
back into the midfield.
when we won-
inverted right back.
When we won the FA Cup, what style did we play?
3-4-3,
And why did we play that?
because of the players that we had available.
And why don't we do that now? We don't have the players that he needs,
Is
right?
Arteta as rigid
What
as
doesn't
his
he have to
hair
play
is?
that he means?
He doesn't, because he's trying to play a style that doesn't work. It hasn't worked.
But his back
Yeah.
four, surely, when everyone is fit, surely it's Tierney.
No, I'm talking about in the first 3 games where he didn't have his squad.
Oh yeah, he didn't have when you have
Oh,
players.
right, I see what you're saying. Sorry, I thought you meant.
No, I'm just saying, like, he
Yeah.
doesn't have his players that he wants. So why isn't he playing a style that he's used in the reason why he has an FA Cup is because he took what he had and he did the best that he could with it, and he
I
was
see what
able
you're saying.
to
Sorry,
win
yeah.
something out of it. And now, after 3 games, 3 games, he didn't do that. He's got his players back, so we'll see it now. What if it doesn't work? Will he stick with something that has worked in the past and got him, got him a promotion and got him a cup? I mean, that's what I don't. That's what I don't get. Like, supposedly we're waiting for these players to come, but he's still playing a style that doesn't fit the players that the hat that he has behind them, right? So, which means that he doesn't have all the players. He still doesn't have all the players he needs, even though he's bought and re-signed most of them, right?
I mean, you would say our first choice back 5. You have replacements for all of those players that should slot in and be able to play in the same formation.
Yeah.
Right. Holding for White.
You said should, right? So why doesn't he
Yeah,
play them then? Why didn't he play them?
He did play them in the first.
No,
3 games.
Partey was out. He didn't play Zombie.
Played Kolasinac as well, didn't he?
Yeah, I can't
Yeah,
answer.
center
That.
back.
So what I'm saying is
Can't answer that question.
So his what they're saying, the reason why they did certain things, they're not actually doing it because they had 2 opportunities, right? They brought in Tavares, they brought in Zombie. The players that would have been playing in those positions were either not playing or moved to a different one, and he still didn't play them.
Yeah, we
mean-
all thought Sambi didn't play against West Brom. We thought he was going to play at City. He didn't play at City.
So he's been out for 2 games, and then he goes out to play in Belgium. Like, this has happened too many times for it to be a coincidence that we don't play certain players. They go off international duty and then they're playing. It's like, are they planning this every time? I feel like I've seen this before, where they don't play for Arsenal, but then they go out and they play for their international teams. And like Stan said, how can they meet up for a few times a year and play okay? Arsenal, they're with for 90% of their soccer playing time that they have, and we can't get a tune out of them, right? I mean, something's not right. Sorry, I just wanted to talk about that. I'm sorry. I just nobody has an answer, so I don't know. So I guess
No, I mean,
Just me.
I cannot tell you why Lakonga, Sambi did not play against City. And he left Granit Xhaka all alone in midfield, flanked by Odegaard and Emile Smith-Rowe. I can't tell you why he did that.
like the one person
Especially when Edu said in his interview that Sambi Lokonga was brought in to be. He said he described him as the next man behind Partey and Xhaka. He's there basically to rotate with those 2 if they're injured, in the red zone, suspended. So by that explanation, if Partey is fit and Lokonga are fit, they should be playing, right? Because that's what they told us. But what they tell us and what they do of late have
2
been
different things.
different things.
Exactly. So, Urban Ghost, there's the link. It's in the chat section for Tony. Let's get him that permanent prosthetic leg. We had something like 40 donations in total now, and Ryan played a huge part of it over on Mr. Arsenal podcast last weekend. I think we're all part of that, with a whole multitude of people bigger than us and smaller than us and wider than us and shorter than us. All the Arsenal YouTubers were on helping. So, yeah, please, if everyone could donate 5 or 6, 10 pounds, whatever, I mean, we'd get to the target very, very quickly. So
I think we've more than doubled what
cheers,
we had
everyone.
going in. I think we had 1,000 going in, and we've more than doubled that, right? But it's still a long way off of what we need to get Tony up and about. What's it sitting at now, Tony?
21.
It's almost 2,100 right now.
Almost 2,100.
Okay.
Yeah, so we're at 21% of where we need to be. That's where we're at. So we'll keep pushing, though. We'll keep pushing. Yeah, to your point, Gary, Rule said Arteta loves to go against what is expected. He tends to cut off his nose to spite his face. And this could be his epitaph at the end of the day. Want to jump into midfield now, Gary?
Yeah.
Who do you want to go with? Listen, if Granit Xhaka and Partey are the number one choices for Edu and Arteta, surely if one of them is out, that means Sambi comes in as the other.
Should be, yeah. That should be what I expect to see. I mean, I would love to see that tandem, right, of Partey and Sambi. Yeah, so it should be an easy one, right? I mean,
the options are limited.
Maitland-Niles is not ahead of them, right?
Shouldn't be.
So yeah.
Unless he's got that thing in his head where the media's telling him he told Ainsley Maitland-Niles that he would be giving him a chance, he'd get minutes. So Arteta likes to hand out medals to everybody, give everybody a little bit of the limelight here and there. He really does. Everybody gets a medal, Stan.
Every team that Arteta's been on, if a player is healthy and if the player is better, he plays, right? You're not going to sit Kevin De Bruyne just because somebody else you brought in. I mean, you just don't do that because he's the better player. And right now, Sambi's the better player when compared to Maitland-Niles. He plays the position more often than Maitland-Niles has. He's played it really well, not only away with Belgium, but here. He plays his national team, so he's got to be somewhat good there. So everything should lead us to believe that Sambi's starting along with Partey. Partey's healthy. Yeah, right.
Stan, that's an interesting shout from Rule. Maybe Ainsley Maitland-Niles gets the partner Lokonga in midfield.
That means Partey's not healthy, yeah?
Yeah, or rested, And
what do you mean rested? How can he be rested? He hasn't played. What are you resting him?
He's been rested.
Was the wrong word, right? You meant to say something else, right?
Like fucking 3 months.
You meant to say something else when you said rested, right?
I'm not doing these things on purpose. So
you said rested, but it can't be rested because
resting.
When is the last time he played? When's the last time he played for Arsenal?
It reminds me of Goodfellas when Joe Pesci's telling that story and he goes, and the policeman comes up to him and he's in the wheels and goes, "What do you mean what I'm doing? I'm resting here. What do you mean? I'm resting." So he's been resting. He's resting, man. But
all right, listen. I don't think Ainsley Maitland-Niles is going to get in, but that was Rule's Rule. He got me in trouble with Gary there. See what he did?
No, you said rested. Rule did not.
Okay,
put those words
I did it myself. Okay.
You didn't mean to say rested. You meant to say something else, but you haven't told us what that word is. So maybe you did.
On the bench, starting substitute.
Your $50 million center mid is going to be on the bench.
All right.
He's not resting and he's not injured.
Lokonga has a mild injury, Rule said. Lokonga took a knock during Belgium duty. So, look, I think we'll be okay with any combination because it means there's no Granit Xhaka in this combination.
Well,
so,
if that's true about Lokonga, then that's a shame because if he were fit, I think the midfield for me, it just speaks for itself. And I'm no fucking football coach. I just listen to what the players say in their interviews, right? So if they're both fit and you've got Thomas Partey who's trying to tell us I'm not really a central defensive midfielder, I'm not really a 6, I'm more of an 8. And then in another interview, you've got Sambi Lokonga saying, I can play as a 6 or an 8, but I prefer to play as a 6. And you've got Edu saying that Lokonga can play as a 6 and an 8. Then you've solved it yourself. Anything
it's giving you
Anything
It
other than
means-
Lokonga playing the deepest and Partey above him, and then Odegaard and then Emil Smith Rowe, for me, you're just showing off because the players have told you, they've told you where they want to play. This
Yeah.
is anything other than that is just jiggery pokery, and if it all goes tits up, then what do you expect other than people just getting vexed with you because you're just trying to do something that isn't. Do you know what I'm getting at?
Yeah,
Right, you don't have to reinvent the wheel.
or as we say in Ireland, getting cross with you. You know what I mean? Some of these terms, living over here in the States, I've lost some of my
Or as Tanner says, it's just screwing the pooch.
screwing the pooch. Yeah. So
I mean, like I said, I always go back to my phrase. It should be easy, all right? The reason why these players look so good probably when they play in Europe is because they put them in positions to where they're comfortable.
Well, they're suitable, yeah.
Right? They're comfortable playing there, so they don't play that often. So when they do, they look fine doing it. Right? Tierney doesn't play left back when he plays for Scotland, but he seems comfortable. Right?
Yeah. Centre back.
let me skim through the last four positions because I think this is quite easy now. They almost picked themselves because if Emil Smith Rowe is out through illness and it's not COVID related, got to stress, as far as I know, he's out through illness. Then that brings Erdegaard into the picture as your central attacking midfielder, Saka on the left and Pepe on the right, and Aubameyang through the middle. Does everyone kind of agree with that? I'm not sure if Tony's listening as well.
Where does that leave Martinelli again?
Martinelli never a starter, so
Never.
I mean,
You know what I mean? Is he ever going to get somewhere into this lineup? Because
He's gonna be,
the only way that he gets into that team now if he's on the bench and he comes on to replace Saka if Saka looks tired. Because if Aubameyang is not working, or they want to try something, then Lacazette gets that, doesn't he? Seniority. Lacazette gets thrown on, so he's not going to get thrown on there.
Well, you remember Ronnie Rosenthal, Stan?
Oh yeah,
He was a super sub.
yeah.
I fear Martinelli's heading the same way. You know, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, when he was playing, he was a super sub as well. I think players are going to get pigeonholed that way.
And again, even if you start Martinelli on the left and Saka on the right, which would work, then you're leaving out Pepe. And as somebody tweeted out earlier today, if you leave both Aubameyang and Pepe out of this current team, that's your goals.
Yeah,
I'm not
I
saying
agree with that.
I'm not saying that no one else can score, but your home bankers at the moment are kind of those two.
well, your three goal
Or
scorers
Lacazette, if
are
Aubameyang's
right.
working, right?
So those you have three people that can score 10 goals in a Premier League season, basically.
Yeah, Lacazette, Aubameyang, and Pepe have been our top three goal scorers. I've been saying this for a few months now, and I've just recently come to the realization you can't play Emil Smith Rowe and Erdegaard. Maybe you can't play three of these together. Saka, Erdegaard, and Emil Smith Rowe cannot be in the same lineup because you're taking away one of your goal scorers, either Pepe or Aubameyang, in that lineup. And I think we're kind of lucky in a way that Emil Smith Rowe has got a mild injury or a sickness, and he'll be back before we know it. But we get to see Erdegaard. We get to see the team kind of balance, Gary, on Saturday.
Yeah, it should be good to see that. I mean, all of this talk you talk about Martinelli. What about Balogun? Why is he even on?
In a perfect scenario,
Why is he even here?
scenario,
Like right now, he should be elsewhere getting playing time.
Should be on loan, I think.
Oh, yeah, and failing that does stand the way I see Balogun. He sits on the bench. We're winning games 2-0, 3-0, and he comes on for 20 minutes.
We just haven't had that luxury though. When was the last time that was going on? You
Yeah,
said
It's not even that. It's not even that. He hasn't. How much did he play last season? Not much because of the stupid contract talk. So he needs to be out there playing. Martinelli should be the one getting every minute off the bench when they need to bring somebody in. He should be the first one off the bench to come in because that's where you need him to be. If Lacazette, it's either Lacazette or Aubameyang who start, and then it's Martinelli who comes off the bench to change the pace of the game.
How many minutes are you giving Martinelli every game?
He should be getting at least 20.
30.
At least 20.
Yeah. It should be coming on
Lacazette always
somewhere,
gets
you know,
subbed off at
ideally, it
60,
should be
so
coming
give
on
him
somewhere
30.
between 60 to 70 minutes, right? You know, somewhere around that
Yeah,
kind of
so
mark.
listen. But
Playing maybe starting an FA Cup or a Carabao Cup game.
what situation do they come on in? Any situation at all? Any game state they come on?
If
Well,
we're playing the right style, our forwards should be tired, and they should be worn if we're having a good game or if we're having a struggling game. Because you're gonna either way, either we are up and we will pull them out, or you know what, we need some fresher legs to come on. All right. I think right now, gone are the days where Aubameyang can play 90 minutes and give you, maybe goals in the 80th minute, like he's done before. I don't think we're at that point where it's working, right? So we need to change it up a little bit and bring on some fresh legs. So I say, all the time, unless he's having a really good game, you're not going to pull him because he's got a brace or something like that. But like you said, we're not seeing that now.
Mm-hmm.
There's two situations where you're gonna utilize him, right? If we're sort of like 3-0 up, then you may want to rest somebody, right, to take them out of the thing because they've done their job for the day. You give somebody else the minutes. On the other hand, if you put your full 11 out there, and maybe you're playing opposition which you should be doing better against, and it's coming up to 60, 70 minutes, and we're losing 2-0. Obviously, what you're doing isn't working. So you look to the bench. There's a bench for a reason, right? If they're just going to be on the bench and you're never going to go to it, they shouldn't be there. They're there to give you options.
Yep.
If they're on the bench, then you shouldn't be afraid to use them.
I definitely agree with that. I just want Arteta to start joining the dots and start understanding there is a bench there. Don't be like Gareth Southgate the other night and not going to your bench and losing points that way.
I think if you're looking at Saka as being our left midfielder or our left winger or our left one in the forward of attack, he is not going to be able to play every single game of the season. It just burn out at his age, right? He needs to take a breather every now and again. Martinelli is a perfect foil to be that person that rotates. Martinelli should be the competition to Saka on that left-hand side in training, to giving him something to think about. Much in the same way that Odegaard and ESR should be fighting. There's times when you can play them at the same time because they seem to dovetail. But it is nice to know that, if somebody has a bad week in training, that you can look to the other one, and by not getting picked that week, it makes you G up yourself a little bit for the next week. So, Martinelli, in the scheme of things, should be able to come on as a substitute for whoever's on the left or whoever's playing up top if when needed, and start games.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I'd love to see him. I just see him as a player who's always the odd man out. And I'm actually wondering, Lacazette is going to probably come on for Aubameyang. So, that's another spot that Martinelli doesn't maybe get into.
And I just want to add as well, Willian's gone now. So that's not in his way. Reece Nelson's gone out on loan. That's another one that's not in his way. So he may have a little bit more of a clearer run to get more minutes. Sorry, Gary.
No.
Yeah, Gary, you asked why would Lacazette come in for Aubameyang through the middle?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because he scored more goals than Aubameyang last season through the middle.
And he has in the preseason.
You just don't like the answer. You just don't like the answer, Gary.
I guess I don't like the answer because I don't, like you said, we don't see a future for Martinelli on the team if he's always going to get pushed out. And then you look at what he can bring to you if you can tap that resource and get the best out of it, right?
Martinelli's got to play cup games and force his way into the league that way.
I like what one role about him being our Wiltord. I could agree with that if he gets the minutes that Wiltord used to get for us.
Yeah. Sorry, Gary. Go ahead.
No. Sorry, I just.
You just don't like the answer. You just don't like the situation.
I don't like the answer.
Well, it's not that you don't like us. It's you don't like the situation at Arsenal.
I don't like that situation with like some of the players that I feel like they're missing out.
I mean, right? Yeah, but not all players are going to fit in with the system.
I mean, we played West Brom and Martinelli didn't play. So when does he play?
Yeah.
So
the whole narrative against West Brom was to get Aubameyang clicking. Was it not?
Yeah, I guess so. And it did work, didn't it?
Again, you just don't like the answers.
I don't like the answer because what do we get? Any team that has a Martinelli on it and seeing what he can do when you kind of give him opportunities and you actually play him, in a position to look good. He's shown he can do it, and he just needs more time once again.
Maybe Tony has got some words of wisdom. How does Martinelli force his way back into the team, Tony?
Getting played, scoring goals, showing Arteta what he doesn't see in training, since training's so important. Since
do you start him in league? Do you start him in league games, or do you start him in cup games?
You start him in cup games right now.
Yeah, so probably the Wimbledon game will be the soonest we're going to see Martinelli, unless we need him off the bench in the next 2 league games. And let's hone in on the next few games. We've been talking about these. I think everyone's got them memorized, Stan. Norwich, I'm putting this down for a win. Then we got Burnley, the Wimbledon game, and Spurs. So let's just take those 4 games in a block.
Well, as I said earlier, between the first 2 games of Norwich and Wimbledon, I'd like to expect 4 points, a win and a draw.
Yeah.
At least from those first 2. And then the next one is the Wimbledon game in the Carabao Cup.
Carabao Cup, Wimbledon, yeah.
Then I would expect a win from that, in that cup game. And then you've got the North London derby, and it's a North London derby, right? And, anything can happen there.
Anything can happen, yeah. As Rule said, the Emile Smith Rowe or the guard experiment with Xhaka, I hope not to see again. I totally agree with you, Rule, on that one. Gary, I'm going to try and cheer you up now. Come on. We should get 6 points against Norwich and Burnley. We need 6 points.
Yeah, well, no. When Stan was talking, I was thinking he was talking about. You're talking about getting 4 out of those 2 games, right?
The first 2,
yeah,
minimum.
Should get 4, right? At least.
Yeah. No, you know what? That should. Yeah, you're right. We have to get points in both games. We have to get.
I think
the minimum expectation, right? Norwich and Burnley should be 4 points minimum expectation.
Yeah,
I think it's bad if we only get 4, Stan. I'm going to put that.
Well, no, it's bad, but you know what? Everybody keeps saying Burnley is not an easy team to just beat, and that's not just for Arsenal. That's for everybody on the road. So it's not something where what. But my thing is, if I'm an Arsenal player who played against Burnley last year, I'm not losing to them again. I'm not giving up points to them again, right? I got to play with a little bit of heart in there, right? A little bit of fire in me,
Revenge.
This is not happening again. We're the Arsenal. We are better than you. We should beat you.
Mm-hmm.
So 4 would be worst case scenario, but they should be expecting to win that match, just like the Norwich game.
When I hear about these situations, I always think of Lee Dixon. And he would say, if you lose to Tottenham, let's say Tottenham, you lose to Tottenham, you're looking in the calendar for the next game, for that return game, and you're not losing that return game. It should be the same thing for Burnley. They took too many points off us last season. And I think we only need 6 points to recover the situation that we're in right now. We're bottom of the league. We hate to say it,
We need 9 points, you mean, to recover?
Well, no, it starts with a win.
No, I'm saying to recover. If you're saying recover, that means after the first 6 games, we should have at least have 9 points, right? 3 wins.
9 points, 3 wins.
We need to make up for the Brentley loss, right?
After 6 games.
We need to make up for the Brentley loss, and we need to get a certain number of points out of it.
That would be a full recovery. I'm just talking about recovery.
You don't. So when you recover, it's not a full recovery.
You can recover and be partially recovered.
We're saying at Norwich at home. We've got crowds. We're at home, so we should have a little bit of favour there, right? Norwich, newly promoted team at home. The crowd. We've had a lot of time to prepare. Should get 3 points there. And away at Burnley, I could handle a draw if I can see that the team were playing to win. I can handle a draw if it's we almost got that. We couldn't just quite get that second goal. One come off the post, something happened there. But if we win against Norwich and then you go to Burnley and it's just, a really poor performance like some of what we've seen in the first 3 games, and you've got to worry about why are they not able to maintain a level of consistency.
Mm-hmm. As Rule says, Burnley is personal. It should be. The players should feel that way, Tony.
Yeah, they should, but you don't know with these players if they'll be up for it or not. Hopefully they are.
And Burnley will miss Xhaka. So Tony, what's going to happen Saturday? And before we get into the Premier League, we're going to preview Premier League. So, yeah, we'll basically skip over Arsenal because what's going to happen on Saturday, Tony?
On which game?
Arsenal versus Norwich.
Yeah, hopefully we go out and get a win, but you don't know if the players have had their crisis meeting. You don't know if they're going to be up for it. It's kind of all up in the air. Hopefully they've grouped together. They go out and play. For some reason, I don't think they've lost faith in Arteta yet. I would if I was one of the players, but
What's your
we're
prediction?
still behind him.
What's your score prediction?
Should be 3-0 us.
Yep, I agree with you. 3-0. I'm going for that as well. Gary?
I guess I've been sticking with how I've been feeling, though. I'm not going to change now, I guess, since during the 24-hour podathon.
You started off with 1-0, and you're probably going to come back with 1-0.
Exactly. I'm going to stay there because I am
Pessimistic, Gary.
No, we should win 3-0, right? We should win by 2.
And we damn well will.
So, but there's a lot of things we should be doing, and we're not doing it. So I'm expecting we're going to have we're all going to expect to see this big thing, and we don't see it. I'll be pleasantly surprised if we get we win by 2 or 3 goals. It'd be really good because we deserve it. Maybe we should be able to do that. Not deserve it, but we should be able to do that. We've got enough quality there. So, but history doesn't bode well.
Reddy's trying to make you feel a bit more upbeat. 4-0. Look at that.
I would love to see
Martinelli's going to score, Gary.
4-0 to who?
Martinelli
and Balogun's
Tony,
going to score.
see now you're getting really dark.
Nobody sees us conceding. Urban Ghost, no, we're not conceding it. We've given away 9, no more. 2-1, Urban Ghost says. Gary, what's the score? Come on.
I'm not going to change now.
1-0.
I'm just going to stick with that.
Okay, Stan, what's your predicted score?
I kind of see where Gary's coming from because if you look at the first few games, and everyone's all hyped up. It's Norwich. We should get something out of it, and we scrape through and we win 1-0.
Yeah.
It's still an improvement, but it's not what everyone's. It's still a little bit lackluster. My prediction is I'm gonna have to go with what I think the score should be, with all things being equal, in a universe where Arsenal aren't this dire. What I think it should be, and I think the score should be 3-1.
Okay,
that's what it should be, with all things being equal. But things aren't equal at the minute, are they?
We're doing that wave analogy, and right now we're at the bottom of the wave, and we're trying to level off.
And if you level off, then you can't be winning 3-1, 3-0, 4-0.
All right,
it just doesn't.
I'm going to take a scruffy 1-0, a header in from a set piece by a White or Gabriel. I'll take that right now, rather than a fucking Aubameyang hat trick or something like that. I would take it. It's improvement.
Yeah.
And, just something about. It was nice to see Gabriel and White playing right in those games. So that's nice, right? And then we know our front four basically is solid. It's just that midfield that we just don't have a grasp on, right? And so they're going to be playing for the first time, whoever it is, right? We're not going to be repeating any lineup because Jacques is out. So whoever's playing will be the first time they're playing, and they haven't even played in the behind doors game. So, and that's where our problems seem to stem, right there in the midfield. Those two pairings, whatever we decide to do there, hasn't worked. And whatever we played, hopefully we stick with that for 3 games that Jacques is out. I would love that to happen. Whatever that pairing is, even if I don't like it, it needs to stick, right? How many times have we said, you know what? We would like to see a similar back four. We would like to see the front four get a number of
Yeah.
games in so they can build. And that's why I'd rather us get a 1-0 win here. Burnley, maybe we get that 2-1 win that we everybody's thinking about. And then we go into the London Derby, having played 2 solid games and built each time.
Yeah.
Go into
Plus the
London
Wimbledon
Derby
game.
actually on a roll.
Yeah.
And then look all the better for it.
Plus
I
that
just can't
Wimbledon game, but I think we'll have a big change of squad for the first
Yeah,
cup
no,
game.
that's a rest day for some of those players, right?
But Gary, you say you'd like to see it stick. What if he takes it literally and he puts out a similar midfield kind of setup to that last game, where instead of Xhaka being the solo pivot, it's Partey with ESI and Odegaard? Do you know what I mean? Because he would be sticking with something that, and then Ray said earlier that he didn't think that worked.
I didn't like it, but I think against Norwich, second from bottom, we can get
home?
at home.
Well, isn't it a pairing we would love to see or we could use, or is that a pairing that, like, if we're okay, everybody's healthy, 100%. Are we going to play Erdiger and
They shouldn't.
and ESR together
No.
in the middle?
I think it's something that could work at home, because Odegaard can play sort of more on that right side, which leaves ESR, and ESR can also play on the flanks as well. As one of those players that can play in the middle. It could work against the right opposition. It's not. I don't think the two players have to be mutually exclusive of each other. And a lot of people were worried when we were looking at bringing in Odegaard. Would it hinder ESR? But they did play together last season.
I wouldn't be against seeing it on Saturday, because we played the best doing that away to City. Now we can play the second from worst at home. And if it doesn't work on Saturday and we play it, then bin it completely.
Well, that's my thing is if it's binning it, then it's not. If you're thinking it's at that, if there's a large percentage that you're gonna have to bin it because it's not gonna work, then that means you don't have the right answer.
Sure.
Because whatever
if it doesn't work against Norwich, it's not going to work.
Yeah, and that's not good. All right.
So what would you do? Would you go with what he did before, because we haven't got all of those midfielders, but obviously Partey and ES, or would you rather him play Partey with somebody more next to him in a Lokonga? Now we're hearing that he might.
Yeah, I would play a central midfielder alongside Partey, a pivot. Yes.
Yeah.
Single pivot, right? Or double pivot. Sorry, double pivot.
It's an
Yeah,
interesting question, but I don't think we're a team right now that can just be making changes like that, like most teams can.
Sure. I don't think we're equipped. You're right. The formation.
Anywhere near where we can say, you know what, we're going to play 3 at the back today, and tomorrow we're going to play 4 at the back, and we don't see a drop in anything like performance and stuff, because you know what? Oh, they haven't played that in a while. You know what? No, and that's where I just feel like we need to stick with something, work on that, and get it working, and then build on that for another season. That's where last season we were like, you know what? If we came out, and we played those first 4 matches in a back 3,
we'll be right back.
We would have been fine with that, and we went to this 4 at the back, and then, I just don't think he has the squad that he wants there, and they're not healthy enough to play that way. So as soon as we get them playing well, what happens? Somebody gets dropped out, somebody gets hurt, somebody goes away on international duty, doesn't come back, and then you're back to, what do we do now? And you're back to, well, we haven't played a 3-4-3 in so long.
Let's try that again.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, you
ain't
never
that for a while.
And if that's the case, then we should be. I mean, to some degree, I always feel like we should be switching between a 3-4-3 and a 4 at the back, whatever that formation is, consistently
like
throughout
Jack
the game.
Of all trades, but master of none, isn't it? Like Jack of all trades, master of none.
We need to be able to say, you know what, we need to get something out of this match. I don't know what it is. We need to get something out of this match, and we're going to go to that formation. So no matter what, so we're going to that formation. You know what, it's just not working. So we're going to go to this formation. We're going to get something out of this match, right? We're going to get a draw, We're going to come back and score whatever it is, and you need to be able to find that clutch that you can always go to, and you know it's going to get you. You know what the answer to the question is that you're posed to it, right? You always get the same answer. So if that's 3 at the back, then that's what we should be going to, and everybody knows it, right? Everybody in the team knew we were playing 3 at the back and 3-4-3, and we were fine. And now we're like, you know what?
Well, I'll ask you then, are you saying, in your opinion, that the 3 at the back, you think that that's something that we should be forging ahead with? You like that?
I feel so. I mean, I feel like I don't think we're suited to play 4, because as soon as anything happens, we're like, well, damn, we're out. Like right now, the depth isn't there that he wants. I don't believe.
I get what you're saying, but just me personally, I've always felt that when you have having that 3 at the back, which is really a 5, right? Because you've got the 3 and then you've got the 2 other defensive, which might be wing backs. I just feel that we miss something in the midfield. We're taking something away.
Creative part.
I can get maybe against certain teams away from home or whatever. You might want to be a bit more secure. But I think if Mikel Arteta had his way, surely his preferred lineup would be 4-3-3, right? Surely even this 4-2-3-1 is a bit makeshift.
He seems like he loves it.
Well, it's only my opinion. I might be wrong, but from what I see of Arteta coming from that school of Man City, isn't that what he's trying to get to? So what do you do? Do you just think, I'm a 4-3-3 man, I'm making everybody in my squad play that position until I gradually replace them with better ones? Or do you look at your squad and go, well, I'm a 4-3-3 man, but these guys, they're not the right thing for it. So
we don't.
Maybe Gary's saying maybe I have to play a 5 or 3 at the back because of the personnel. But they just
don't think
all these people.
We don't have the players. People. We don't have the players for 4-3-3. I don't believe.
But that's what the goal is, though, isn't it? I think. Isn't that the overall goal?
Yeah, maybe it is. Maybe, but I don't really like that formation. Arsenal's always really played with a 4-2-3-1, and we went 3-4-3. It worked really well, but I think we're only going to use 3-4-3 against the bigger teams away from home and moving forward. Tony,
I remember getting laughed at for saying we should go for a 3-4-3. Ended up winning us an FA Cup.
And ever since then, you've been reminding us, and we've been giving you kudos for it. So. It all worked out.
I just hope we don't go for the 3-1 like we did. That just didn't work at all with Xhaka being the lone central defensive midfielder. I don't want to see that experiment again. It's a wrong game to experiment with. We know what 3-4-3 works. I still don't think we have the players to do a 3-2, 3-1. I think that is Arteta's preferred system where he'd go for a 4-3-3. I think we're better suited for a 4-3-3.
I slightly disagree with that. But, Gary, is this your lowest Arsenal point in the season right now? You look like you're feeling a little down. We want to.
How does he know after 3 weeks, Ray?
Fill you up a little bit.
No,
the only way is up, right? Isn't that what we were singing earlier?
I was told that if we had a preseason, we would start out. We would have a better start to the season.
Ray gave us 3 extra preseason games.
Right?
Yeah, the season starts.
Oh, sorry, you're right. We're starting the season now. So we didn't actually get anything out of the last 3 preseason matches then, right? Because
we knew
when I ask people all the time, tell me some positives from the first 3 games. They all look at me like I've
got one.
Quantum physics. Right?
You asked us positives
Arsenal was so pissed off of that opening game against Brentford, they decided to fucking call them back for a behind the closed doors showdown where we fucking done them 4-0. We're like, fuck you fuckers. So it doesn't count, mate. You know what I mean? So it doesn't work like that.
The things we found out.
They sent their kids. It wasn't even starters. It wasn't like
things. Gary, things we found out was what not to do in those first 3 games.
I know. We've been doing that for the last 18 months. So I didn't want a repeat of that.
Anyway, listen, viewers, you're going to see Gary much more happier as we go through the season. This is your lowest ebb. Gary.
I hope so. I hope
This
so.
This is Arsenal speaking, football speaking. This is as bad as it gets. We're 20th, right?
This is our Chelsea match then, yeah.
I've been telling you that for 3 or 4 weeks now.
Is Gary being realistic
You
or
just don't-
pessimistic?
You hear it, but you don't listen.
I hope so.
Telling you that for
I
a
hope
month.
so. Yeah, I hope so.
All right, let's flip the script a little bit. Unless you have anything else to say about Arsenal, Tony, we'll move on. Okay, good. Stan, we're going to go into the upset picks.
Oh yeah.
First one, yeah, this is where you obviously have not prepared, and you're going to make something up on the fly.
Yeah.
We
The
never
Marty
prepare
McFly.
for this except for Gary.
But I think Tony doesn't prepare either. He just picks something. As we
Oh, I'm
go.
going to just go now. Arsenal beat Norwich. That's the upset. There you
Yeah,
go.
and you will get
Next.
1 point.
Next.
You can do that.
What's
You can
next?
do that.
Where's my updated table, Ray?
Are you serious?
There's the upset right there.
Oh man,
Where's
it was
my
an easy
table,
money bet, right? It's an easy
What?
money bet.
What, Tony?
So where's my updated scoreboard?
Okay,
Make sure you
I'll
gave me
put you in.
points for Crystal Palace.
You did pick up good points. 6.5 points. You should have won the game. You
Should've.
know that, right?
Yep.
All right, so Tony's in second place. Points have been verified, tallied and verified, as they say in the Eurovision Song Contest.
Sam still had an unfair
Yeah.
advantage,
Oh, yeah.
knowing Lacazette and Ubo.
You got to get off the bottom there, Stan. You're like Arsenal.
Sam's been drinking Red Bull. Look at him.
I think he hit big on 1 or 2.
Sam had an unfair advantage.
Okay, so Gary, no more O's allowed. Okay.
Yeah, well, I think I'm tapped out on those. I'm just recharging right now, trying to,
What do you call
Gary
that?
gets tired of my gifts.
DRC, no, whatever it is in Formula One. Arteta might want to try Tamayasu as right-sided centre back in a back three. That's very possible, really. I mean, we have that flexibility now. I think it'll be against the bigger clubs. So
Arsenal's the only team that goes out and gets a player and says, you know, what's his position? Well, he can play
he's a hybrid.
this, he can play that. What team goes out there and does it consistently all the damn time? We got Tavares. Oh, he's going to be a backup, a left back.
In an ideal world, Arsenal like to buy a player that's got like 8 legs and can play like fucking in goal, up front, fucking. Do you know what I mean? Do it all. Do you know what I mean?
We're a team of arachnids.
I mean, it doesn't. Can't. I don't feel you get consistency there. Like you can't get better at this game of football if you're like, you know what, today you're a right center back, tomorrow you're a left wing back, and then maybe you're gonna have to play left back,
Reminds me of
on this week.
Yeah, we've
It's
already
like,
got a player that does that. It's Callum Chambers, right?
yeah, but we
We've got
don't. But he's not like we need. Like we want to improve on him, right?
That reminds
Think about
me
it. You
of-
don't when you go out there and you spend, and you spend a lot of money on these players. You don't how many
19
players?
million, really a lot. I mean, really think about it. 19 million in today's, not really a lot, is it? It's a lot for us. That's where we are, right? We're in 8th position. We're spending
Yeah, but
20 million, and we're like, "Fuck, this has got to work." Other teams they pay 20 million and just for a guy to fucking put the kits out.
I guess so. Maybe that's just it.
That reminded me when Gary said today I'm going to be a right back or a centre back. That reminded me of, I think, an English show where contestants are regular Joes, but then they're like, I'm going to be, Van Morrison. And they go backstage and come back.
Stars in their eyes.
Is that what it is? Stars in their eyes? Yeah.
Or as I call it, stars in their minds. If they come out in the smoke, they look nothing like the fucking person, do they? I know it's
completely done over. Done over. All
Yeah.
right, Dan, you've stalled enough now. We're going to go Crystal Palace versus Tottenham. What's going to happen? Patrick Vieira at home against the league leaders,
Where are they playing at, Ray?
Selhurst Park. I really wish one day they're going to move and won't have to call it Selhurst Park anymore.
Ray wants them to buy a fucking new stadium.
Move to another ground, please. Yeah, listen. Dan's still thinking there. Will Patrick Vieira get one over the old enemy?
Yeah, why not? I'm not going to go against it. I'm going to go for a Crystal Palace. I'm going to go for a draw.
All right, but it's not your upset, or is it your upset?
Right. Well, I told you my upset. That's us beating Norwich.
All right, for one paltry point. Okay.
I think maybe they'll scratch out a draw at home.
Yeah, good shout. Tottenham have got to be slowed up somehow, some way. Gary, what do you think?
I
Tottenham
was
are flicking
tempted to
into the
take that as an upset, but I just don't see it. I just don't see it.
7:30 in the morning, you'll be kicking yourself.
Yeah, probably.
It's the lunchtime game over the UK. Brady's going for a 2-1 Palace.
Yeah, no, I don't. I think Crystal Palace won't win, so they will win this.
It is a big ask, really, though, isn't it? To be fair, it is a big ask.
Yeah.
I think
Vieira's got a big task already. 14
Too
from
many
the table.
Edwards that scores, Sam.
I mean, you've got to think of it, right? He's only been in there 5 minutes. All his fans and his players have got to trust the process. There's got to be 3 windows, then a pre-season. Look at what we're doing. So,
I mean, the one thing that is, I don't know who they've played, but I mean, they've given up half as many goals as we have. So,
Palace.
yeah.
They lost to Chelsea, I think.
If they lost to Chelsea, they've only given up 5 goals. So
they lost to Chelsea 3-0. Brentford a draw. They beat Crystal Palace. Actually, they got beaten by Watford in the EFL Cup. They were knocked out of the cup, and they drew West Ham, which was a good result for them. They might be turning the corner a little bit.
Stan might have he probably should use it as his upset pick if he's going that way anyways.
Mm-hmm.
You get more than 1 point if they draw.
Not good if they got knocked out by Watford, right? You'd think they should be,
Maybe they put their the third string.
I just can't give Spurs the win. I'm just not going to do it.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm thinking Crystal Palace won't win that one, so I'm not even gonna. We'll be upset again, I think.
All right, so you think Tottenham's going to win?
I think Crystal Palace won't win. Not gonna say it.
Rohan, you have an understudy here, Rohan.
I am not gonna say
Gary's studying to be a lawyer pretty soon.
You might need Gary. You might need to get Rohan because really Saka in the chat box is using your patented ugh. You know what I mean? You might want to get your legal team. That's
but he put an R in there.
He put an R in there just because you know what? That's how they do, so they don't get caught, right?
Yeah.
Every time someone uses that, they got to pay Gary a royalty.
There you go.
Gary doesn't like the letter R somehow.
Yeah.
I'm only pirate.
My first name begins with the letter R.
I'm only pirate here.
Tony, what's going to happen? Palace going to beat Tottenham?
I think it's going to be a draw, but I don't know if I'm going to pick this one as my upset or the game Sunday.
Okay, well, you better decide pretty soon. Next 20, 30 minutes here. I think Tottenham might be too much for Palace. I think Tottenham will win. We're ready as one step ahead of Gary putting the oars in there. Good stuff, ready. Next one up, Gary. Watford versus Wolves.
I'm going to go. I think the Wolves might get something out of that, but that's not my upset pick.
Yeah. We'll make Mark from On the Stoop happy chappy, the Wolves supporter over there. Mm-hmm. They haven't been terrible. Wolves have been very, very unlucky this season, losing 3 games 1-0. So you think Wolves will get something out of it? Watford will fade away from their opening day exploit against Aston Villa, winning 3-2. Watford are going to sink down a bit further. I agree with you. I think Wolves will get something out of this finally. One of those teams, I think a lot of teams like Arsenal went away, had a good look at themselves in the mirror, had a good dressing down. They dressed themselves down and said, you can do better. So I think Wolves players are doing the same thing.
If Arsenal were looking at themselves in the mirror, it was probably one of them fucking mirrors you get in the Hall of Mirrors at the carnival, where it all looks a little bit like.
And then he said, "That looks okay to me. We're doing okay."
Yeah, we look good. I'm looking good. Looking good.
The deluded mirror.
Are you
3-2
sure it ain't
Wolves.
Bruce Lee with just tons of mirrors around?
Yeah.
Yeah, Arsenal could be that hall of mirrors. You don't know which way to go. You think there's an entrance there, but then you bump into the mirror stand. And that's what we've been doing for these past 3 games. You know?
What's this one? Is it at Wolves?
No, it's at Watford.
I'm going for a draw anyway. I think it'll be a draw. I think you're right. Maybe Wolves will get something out of it. But Watford look, I'm not saying they look good, but they look like they can play a nice game of football. So I'm going to go for a draw.
Watford, we haven't seen enough of them, but they could be too pretty for the Premier League. They might need
they've got rid of Troy Deeney. I think it's going to be better for them.
Yeah, he's on the subs bench now.
No, I think he's gone now, isn't he? He's gone.
Maybe he's gone. He was.
Yeah, I think they sold him, right? He went somewhere. He plays somewhere else now.
I'll have to check that out. Tony, did you say Wolves?
I didn't say anything. You haven't went to me yet. For once.
All right, you have the floor.
Meeting our new buddy there Sunday night, early Monday morning. I want to pick Wolves, but I agree with Stan that most likely it will be a draw.
Okay, Wolves, Watford will be a draw. Troy Deeney is professional footballer still with Birmingham City
There you go.
in the EFL. And so he's dropped back down to the championship.
Keep up, Ray.
Keep up with every player moving around.
Yeah.
He no longer had the cojones for the Premier League.
Didn't have the cojones. Tony, Brentford versus Brighton.
At where? Brentford?
At Brentford. The Bees.
It's kind of one of those who gives a fuck games.
Well, our viewers give a fuck. So, you know,
They don't give
we're
a fuck.
supposed to give them some detailed analysis on this game.
We'll go for Brentford.
Brentford to continue. They could be pretty decent at homestand. That's not a bad shout. I think they will probably beat Brighton. Soften them up. We got to play Brighton in about 2 or 3 weeks. So
For me, this one's a toss-up between a draw and a Brentford win. So I've got a feeling maybe I'm going to go Brentford.
all right, Brentford.
A home win.
They haven't conceded many goals at all. So that Raya is pretty good, the goalkeeper for them. Riddy's gone 1-1.
Is there a keeper?
David Raya.
Okay.
We tried to get him last season or 2 seasons ago. I don't know if Gary's still there. We'll switch over.
Gary's trying to figure out a way to bring Emmy into it.
Yeah. Emi Martinez. Salute to the pound. Does Norwich have a better midfield than us, Stan? Maybe the central midfielders are better.
They probably got more of them. For a start. That's the thing, right?
We used to collect midfielders for fun.
I feel a little bit threadbare.
Attacking midfielders are that too.
I feel a bit threadbare. I would be interested to, when you look at how, all the players that are registered, if there's any from the academy, like is Charlie Patino registered? I don't think so. Because Aziz is out on loan. Is there anyone in the background who could maybe slip in who's registered as an emergency? Because how many players do we have to register? 25, right?
Yeah.
And I was trying to count up. I was sat on the toilet today, and while I was sat there, I was trying to count up how many first team players that we had, even including someone like Kolasinac, right? Because he's still there. And I think I got to about 2021. Things I do in the toilet.
As you do. You usually go through your fingers, right? And then you take your socks off and you go through your toes, right?
That's where I go when I want to put the world to rights, I go on the Kazi for a bit. A lot of things in this world are solved that way.
You'd be
I
surprised.
think Boris Johnson probably comes out with most of his stuff while he's sat on the fucking throne.
Yeah, but
I
you
just
can
think
see,
he just
you can
throws
totally
shit on the
see him
wall and
with
see what sticks.
trousers down around his ankles, tidy whities.
Yeah.
The hair is all messed up again. Bojo.
Yeah.
Tony, what have we got? Manchester United versus Newcastle, Tony.
Who's that one? Say again?
Manchester
United.
United versus Newcastle
I
United.
hate taking United, but United will win.
The Battle of the Uniteds. It does look like Man United will be strong at home. I think they will win that game. And Joe Willock will not show up again.
Probably going to be the Cristiano Ronaldo show, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
He'll get a hat trick or a brace.
He's
I'm gonna-
probably going to score
I'm gonna
every
go
game he
United
plays.
win.
He'll score, Tony.
I'm going for a United win. They've got quite a strong team. They've got a lot of depth. You know what I mean? My man, Donny van der Beek, still cannot get. Can you? We're living in a world, right, where fucking Donny van der Beek can't get a game of football. That's like, I mean, this is like a Nelson Mandela situation right here. This man needs to be fucking freed or
Free
some
Donny.
shit. It's
Is that part of a
ridiculous.
Mandela effect?
Apparently, I was just veering off a little bit. I was reading just this morning that he was almost going to join Everton in the window,
Was that on Johnny as well?
and all the personal terms were done for Donny, for Everton. All the personal terms were done, and at the last minute, United said no. I mean, this guy's career just seems to be wasting away. I mean, you don't play football, you ain't going to get called up to the national team. But I digress. Go back to the ones that Gary missed. So who did we miss? Go back to the ones that we went through. I'll be back in a sec. We missed about 3 or 4, right?
Did you get Watford Wolves, Gary?
Yep, I did. I get Wolves. For
Okay, so then Brentford Brighton.
I got Brentford winning this one.
Yeah, they're doing quite well with David Raya, that goalkeeper. That we're not going to mention Emmy, right? Can it be an Emmy free zone tonight, Gary? Don't bring him up again.
So you just said it the second time. Tony,
It was his idea.
Give us a.
He said Gary's in a bad mood. Let's
I'm
make him
tapped
more
out
angry.
I'm tapped out. I don't have
Gary,
that
did
many.
you run out of cocoa water? Is that what your problem is?
I did not. I have some, but
Is your Pelotron still working?
it worked.
This
I used
is
it
Gary's
morning.
plan. Gary wants to feel like this until he sees the game on Saturday. He knows Arsenal are going to blow Norwich away, and then he'll be very, very happy.
I hope so.
That's how it
I
works.
hope so I want to. You know what? I don't want a teaser like the last time we played Wolves, right?
That was such a weird game. You talk about that 2-1 where David Luiz was sent off and Bernd Leno. We could play that 99 times again.
And we win that
It would never happen again. We'd win 99 out of 100, Gary.
Yeah.
Telling you. When you break down the analysis of that game, come down to two minute detail, maybe one minute detail. We don't get sent off. He doesn't get sent off. Doesn't have a penalty. It's all different. Man United versus Newcastle, Gary.
Yeah, no, I can't see how they're gonna. Manchester's gonna mess that one up. I just can't see it. They're playing at home. They're playing at home. Not only are they playing at home, but they brought in the
Ronaldo.
Ronaldo. So
An unknown Portuguese. Nobody's ever heard of him.
now, and the
Who
way
is
that
Ronaldo?
and the way that they announced him, if he doesn't play, much less start, it'd be a travesty in the world of football reintroductions back to your club.
Well, we
So-
see his abs.
You gotta admire what Ronaldo can do.
If he hits a brace, you're gonna see everything.
Quick prediction on Ronaldo, Stan. Do you think he's gonna get 20 goals?
He's capable, right? I mean, he's world class. All depends how they're going to use him. It's going to be interesting to see how he fares coming back into the Premier League. I mean, he's no spring chicken, but it's this guy does everything to keep himself in optimal fucking working order, man. I mean, the guy's like a fucking Formula One car in human form. You know,
Yeah.
oil change every fucking day. You know,
Super premium. Gas.
I'm interested to see how it pans out.
Mhm. Gary, he's probably going to hit 20, right, this season.
Yeah.
I'm not walking you up the garden. I believe he'll probably hit 20 as well.
I mean, I would like to see him go full
You're
Alba
leading the
and
witness, Ray.
get 10, and then everybody says it's a failure, and United finish out the top 4. Just why not go for the full thing? But I don't see that.
Yeah. All right, we got Stan for another 5 minutes because apparently you can only book Stan for 2 hours at a time.
2-hour windows. That's my bit.
2-hour window. You got out in the
What
stay.
else do you got to do, Stan? Nose bag
Hey?
time?
What's that?
Says it nose bag time?
No, Ray can only afford me for 2-hour windows. That's the deal, right?
He pays you?
Everybody thinks money is exchanged during these YouTube collaborations. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we're above that. It's all done in Bitcoin.
All through the Brownie Empire.
Yeah, through Brownie's Bitcoin mining farm.
That's why Wales had a blackout today.
Listen, anything that goes wrong in Wales, blame it on Brownie. Anything goes wrong in Spain, blame it on Brownie. Just basically blame everything on Brownie, right? So yeah,
right.
He should change his YouTube channel called Blame It on Brownie.
Blame it on Brownie. Yeah. What was that? Peter Pan? Blue Peter? Is that the Brownie that was James Craven? I don't know. I'm gone off the reservation here. Tony,
Grasping for straws there.
Man United versus Newcastle, Tony, and Stan, you can feck off whatever you want.
You already asked me, Ray. Like you do every fucking week.
I lose. It's not easy to keep track of 4 people here on one podcast.
Don't you write it down like you're supposed to?
Ronaldo's bunch is a win.
Okay, Ronaldo's bunch is going to win. Gary, Southampton versus West Ham.
Yeah, West Ham will win that. Yeah.
I've picked this as my upset pick. I think West Ham dropped some points before the window. I think they're going to drop some points down there at Southampton on Saturday at 3 p.m. So I think Southampton will get something from that game. Stan, better get your sage advice on Southampton.
I don't know. I think we might see that. What's his name? Ralph Hasenthal crying again. I think they're going to lose.
Oh, he can cry in good ways. Well, he can fall to his knees in a gladiator sort of way and cry that way as well.
Character, that guy. I don't think they're going to get anything out of it though. They haven't really strengthened, have they? If anything, they've kind of weakened themselves.
Is this leaking over into the second payment, or is this all for tonight?
We've still got 2 minutes. We've got 2 minutes.
2 minutes to go. Okay.
Yeah.
Tony.
And then we hit double time.
Yeah. On a Friday morning as well. Thursday night. 1-0 to Amber, says Riddy. Tony, what have you got? Southampton, West Ham?
I think it's going to be a draw.
All right. Southampton, West Ham. Stan, Leicester versus Manchester City, a repeat of the FA Cup final. Leicester, Man City. Brendan Rodgers might not be smiling.
I'm going to go for a draw. Because they've got a couple of players out in that City. They've got a couple of players out. I think Gabriel Jesus is out. I think someone else in their back line is out. So I'm going to go for a draw.
I think City will be too strong for Leicester, and we want City to be beating what I'm calling Tier 2 teams. Gary, Leicester.
How are they a Tier 2 team when they keep finishing in the top 4 or 5?
Leicester don't finish in the top 4. Leicester, Tier 2. Did he freeze?
City put a lot of players around international duty as well, right?
Gary, make your pick already.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh, you let that one go, Gary. You see that?
I
You
think
let that go.
Leicester City will get something out of this game, but it's not my upset pick.
It's not? Okay. Did you see the way Tony just ignored me when I said Leicester didn't finish top 4?
Because you realize he was wrong.
I
Yep.
said 4 or 5.
All right, Tony. Leicester versus City. In your parallel universe, what happens?
My parallel universe, you're playing at Leicester.
We got 10 seconds of stand left. Soak it all in, people.
No,
Okay,
we're 26 seconds over.
I'm going to go with a draw. I'm going to go with a draw before Stan vanishes.
A draw it is. All right. Chelsea versus Aston Villa. Stan? You still here?
Hold on.
You got to take that.
Hold on, it's Rohan. Yeah, I told him 2 hours. Yeah. Just prepare the invoice. No, I think he's cool. He knows. I told him, so it shouldn't be a surprise. Yeah. All right, mate. Thanks. Sorry, what was that? Chelsea.
I'll sign off on whatever long document Rohan's got to give me.
Chelsea Aston Villa.
What fun.
Ooh, yeah.
30 font.
Chelsea win. I can't stand Villa at the moment.
Yeah.
I'm sick. So yeah, Chelsea. That's more of a wish than anything else.
Gary, Chelsea versus Villa.
Yeah, Chelsea.
Yep. I think Chelsea will win that game as well and knock another tier 2 team down, Tony. Because Villa didn't finish the top 4, right?
And go with Chelsea.
Huh?
Unanimous. Chelsea.
Chelsea. Okay. Sam has picked Leeds versus Liverpool as his upset pick. Stan, what do you think? He thinks Leeds going to upset Liverpool at home.
I don't. I think Liverpool will beat Leeds.
All right. Stan, love that. LOL. He's a good man with the props, Stan is. He likes it. He likes a prop. 4-2 to Chelsea. Gary, you haven't picked an upset yet, Gary.
Yep. Which game are we on now?
Chelsea versus Villa.
I just said Chelsea already, dude.
Okay.
We're at Liverpool.
Oh, Leeds, Liverpool.
Leeds, Liverpool, that was it.
That's
Yeah.
my upset
My
pick.
bad, my bad.
That's my upset pick. No, is it? Is that my upset pick?
I'm glad I didn't set Ray at 1.5 over and under on.
I
Yeah,
even
that's
though
fine.
noticing
Injured.
That's my upset pick.
Did Van Dijk pick up an injury on international duty?
Who did?
I think Van Dijk might have picked up an injury, a knock or something.
I'm going with it anyways.
Because they usually fold as soon as he's out, and they'll fold.
Has anyone else noticed a distinct lack of enthusiasm tonight? Almost like there's been an interlull with no
Who are you
football.
picking, Gary?
Huh? I already
So who are you
picked. How many
picking?
times do I have to say it?
I know I usually say that Gary reminds me of Ian Wright, but tonight he reminds me of Ian Wright's evil twin, if he had one.
Well,
I said-
listen,
I said
Ian Wright's
Leeds.
evil
Come
twin
on,
that they
dude.
don't talk about, and they keep locked up under the stairs and don't let him out in case he attacks visitors or something.
Villa,
This into low. Just really.
Dananjai, Charan said
He's
Villa,
just
dude.
evil Irish twin.
Will Lakonga and Party start? We think Lakonga picked up a knock, but if I was betting on it now, I would say the two of them are going to start. Dananjai. Okay, who's next? Leeds, Liverpool. Everyone have their say on that one. Tony, go ahead.
Damn, how many times do you want to fuck me over on this tonight? You're at 3. I was just have over and under at 1.5.
When you start putting Leicester City in the top 4, I start skipping over you.
Oh, even though you fucked up twice before then. I almost want to pick this as my upset, but I won't. I think Liverpool pulls it off, so I'm gonna pick.
Drum roll.
I'm gonna pick Vieira's bunch as my upset at Selhurst Park.
Okay, you went all the way back. You're gonna do that one. Okay. Palace versus Tottenham. Last one, Tony, on Monday, Everton versus Burnley. Rafa Benitez getting the tune out of Everton against Sam Dyche, Sean Dyche.
Sean Dyche.
Burnley's always tricky, but I think Everton pulls it off.
And Burnley will have had two days less rest when we play them. Not that it's going to make a difference when we play them, because we're going to make them look good, right, Gary?
No.
Everton versus Burnley.
Yeah, it was between these two games, the Leeds and the Burnley game. So I'm still thinking. I think Burnley will get something out of this game. So
This is the reason why Gary is he's struggling this so early in the season.
yeah,
He's on 6 points, a full 13.5 points behind Sam, and 8 points behind Tony.
yeah. No, I think it. I think this will. I think Burnley will get something out of this game. Everton won't win.
Whoa!
Sam had a
Everton at
handicap pick
Goodison
on
Park?
his Arsenal upset this first week.
You gonna pick that one, Gary?
Yeah,
Oh, you switched. Okay, you switched. You changed your mind from Leeds to
no,
Burnley.
Leeds is still my pick, but I still think Burnley will get something out of this
Okay.
game.
Okay. All right. That's it. We got
Yeah,
through
that's me.
everything. Huh?
You didn't ask me, man. That last one, you didn't ask me.
How
Right,
much
what's
is
going on
it
here?
going to cost me, Stan?
How do we know you're keeping the right scores here?
Exactly.
Oh,
We know we've been saying it all
This is
all
very
year.
dubious, man.
I
It's
can't
like,
believe
"Oh,
you-
see you later, everyone." I'm like, I haven't done mine.
Because you're going to keep scores along with me because
I mean, I think it'll be a draw for what it's worth.
Everton, Burnley, draw. Okay. Cool. Let's get final thoughts on everyone then and get out of here. Stan?
Final thoughts. I just want to. I want to see what they've been telling us. They've told us that Lokonga will start behind either Partey or Xhaka if either of them can't play. I want to see that, and I want to see. I'm interested to see these new players like Ben White and Tomiyasu. I'm looking forward to seeing these players that I don't really know too much about, and hopefully see a coherent game of football.
Yeah.
What one can wish for, right?
Gary really wants to see that, right, Gary?
Yep.
A coherent game of football where players play their positions, excel in their individual battles, and score goals. More than one, hopefully.
Yep. I want to be pleasantly surprised, like I said. Come out and just manhandle this game and take control, win it out. It was a good week, I think, for Patino, right? He looked really good this week. Got people talking about, should he, play in some of the cup games? I think we don't need to rush that. And I think we have more than enough players that need time. So let him season where he is at, and then we'll figure out what to do next. Also, this is kind of the state of. I guess I'm gonna be a downer a little bit, but this is the state of where we are with the social media, right? So I don't know. I've seen this guy a couple of times. Greg Holden, I think is how you said it. He's like a Liverpool fan, and he basically shut down shop because he just had more than enough abuse online.
And one of the more prominent ones as well. He went over to the States here.
Yeah.
He had a big opportunity. A big Liverpool podcaster.
Yeah.
Not Craig Holden.
Yeah.
What, with a bald head?
Yep.
What's happened to him? He's moved to the States.
I believe he had an opportunity, right, Gary? I'm not 100%
I think so, but yeah, it's just the whole social media kind of, hounding that he was getting, and it was affecting him mentally and his family as well. So he basically said, "You know what? I'm done for a little while doing this stuff." So we'll see.
I think this has happened to him before, though. I remember something like this happened to him before, maybe 2 years ago or something like that. Okay.
So yeah. So so take it. Sometimes you don't know who you're talking to on these things, in the chats and in the DMs. So be nice, I guess.
think he was talking about Twitter in particular, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think in general, I think everybody gets it from anywhere they have things. So I'm not sure why Twitter is the. I think people see it in YouTube, chats and stuff like that as well.
Mhm.
So, but yeah, so that was the downer there. But like I said, on a high note, this is an opportunity for Arsenal to go out there and show us that what, yeah, we are missing our players when we have them. This is what it looks like. I mean, this is what it's going to look like, going forward. The more we get players like this, so. I'm hoping, like I said, I'm dreading a 1-0 win, but I'm hoping for us to go out there and smack them around a little bit and take the game. So, yeah.
Recovery starts with the season's first win, Gary, versus Norwich, and I think we'll keep the target at 66 points again. See if we can hit those percentages.
Yeah, that would be nice. That would be nice. Yeah,
I didn't roll them out this season because it was preseason up until now. The season starts on Saturday. Tony, this is where you bring some positivity, right?
Yeah, I'll bring some positivity. First, starting off with football, I hope we do something that we don't seem to ever do, is win the first game after international break. Like Stan, I want to see what Taco does. I want to see what Zombie does out there. And I want to see what we look like without Zaka. Hopefully we have pace and tempo like we usually do when he's not out there. And I want to thank Ryan and everybody else that helped host and join in during the 24-hour Podathon. Everybody that donated and helped me double the amount I had. It was nice going from right at 1,000 to a little over 2,000. And
nice bump. Well, we got to keep bumping.
Yep, and tomorrow will be my 20th year anniversary after my dad passed away. So, like I always keep on saying, just enjoy life, enjoy people while they're there. Don't ever take anything for granted. Don't come up with an excuse for not calling somebody or checking on somebody. Just go out there and always take the time to look after your loved ones.
Yeah, good stuff. I like this new feature here where you're coming up with some positivity, because we all need a little bit of that. And
fucking Arsenal don't bring it to us, do they?
I don't bring it to you, but I was saying I've been watching the ladies and the women, the ladies.
We might have to start doing a podcast about them instead of the men's, right?
The Arsenal ladies have been doing us proud, and hopefully with 22-game season, that win against Chelsea can be seen as a big one when we move forward. So listen,
somebody needs to oil their door.
Good stuff on the positivity, and please, everyone, be safe out there. I want to echo what Tony says. We don't know how people are feeling. We don't know how everybody feels. Between the two temples, we all operate differently. So have a little thought about that next time you're going to come at somebody. And, it's okay to have a discussion as long as it doesn't devolve into an argument. You can state your point of view. We'll have point of views at the weekend. We will share them with you. We will see you on Sunday. Stan, thanks for joining. Gary?
Yeah, Stan, Ray, Tony, everybody in the chats. Really? Urban Ghost.
Tony.
And Tony, thanks for joining. Yeah, shout out a few people in there. Danan and Jai. And listen, Gary will be more cheerful as the season goes on because Arsenal will do that to him.
This is a long 2 weeks of not 2 weeks or interlull, as they call it.
Gary's just looking forward to his.
He's the epitome of interlull right now, Stan.
I am.
If you looked up interlull in the dictionary, you see a picture of Gary. No, not like that. All right. Thanks, everyone. Thanks for watching. Recovery starts with the first win, and we're gonna get it against Norwich. Come on, you Grinners.